So, if we're wondering what's in here, I got the books out and went over my notes. I'm not real good at this sometimes, but I'm going to be this time because I got to get this thing back together, right? What we put in there was called a Cruise Lite, and that's from Electric Railroad through Lionel. And it was a 2 amp cruise control board, which is pretty cool. It wouldn't handle diesels, but it could handle a single motor steam engine. And I've got the pinouts for the Cruise Commander, the interface, and inputs and outputs, and it even has remote couplers if you have such a thing. But as you can see, there's a program and a common, and those two are what allow you to change the specs or your part number. There's the chuff in, so it has a chuff trigger built in, which is a good thing. And it has front and rear lamps with a common, and then this feature is actually allows you to regulate the voltage going to smoke. And it may be that he's turned the smoke down just to save it. So I'm going to leave that in there and just go with what I think I need to do on fixing the leak. Yeah, I don't think he would appreciate smart smoke with a feature like that. I don't know. I don't think that would work, is what I think. So I may have to limit what I can do for him. At any rate, this all fits what I found so far, and we've done everything in here according to the manual. And I will see what else. Oh, this is the pinouts, right? This is how the back end gets wired in. There's an antenna because he has this wired controller, the chuff in, and the smoke unit. That's exactly what he has here. And then there's some illustrations on how to install it and how to program it through the Electric Railroad controller and TMCC. So then I started to do my cubic capacity study, and as luck would have it, I happen to have a, look at that, it's a New York Central too. Not a very good shape of one, but it is. It's New York Central, American Flyer, no date. It's been touched. I don't know why it's red on the inside, but it's been touched. At any rate, I got my dimensions out of that, and I find out there's 172 inches of open space, front to rear. There is some blocks. We've got a little D10 here for this rear water feeler, and then we got some front end stuff for this detail on the interface, what that looks like. You see down inside there, right? So it's like that. I'm looking at it like this. I want to know how much space I have. Then I did some guesstimates on the chassis plate and looking for mounting holes to see what I can do. And then I wanted to find out if there was some space not being utilized. And you can see here is a fairly big place, and here is a fairly big place, but they're shallow. They don't have a lot of room. So that's 40 and that's 20. So that's 60 millimeters of open space. And what I think I can do, if I look at the heights and everything, and look in the back there, this is the high spot. As long as I keep it in front of this piece, it'll be okay. So I'm thinking what I can do is push this back, mount it on a plastic frame, and level it out so that it's further back up over this piece and not touching the top, and that would give me about another 20. Then I can bring this guy back to about here and get it lined up for you. That would move that back, and that would give me about that much space. If I need it, I have it. Plus, it will iron out these things. But, you know, I'm debating, if I'm not going to change the lid, I don't need this. I mean, his smoke was working. I'm going to have to talk to Joe and see if he turned it down on purpose. And if he knows he can do that, I'm pretty sure. He's pretty up to it. So I'm going to see if he's happy with the smoke or he just wants the motor fixed. It may be I only need to do... Oh, look at the end of that motor has been rubbing on something inside the engine. That's probably cut back on his power a lot. Oh, shoot. It's been rubbing on the inside of the firebox. Oh, boy. Well, we're going to fix the motor for sure, and we're going to fix the smoke leak. by golly, that, you know, if he's happy with the way it is, I don't need to take this apart and build a plate and move things back, because I don't need that board if he's happy with it is. So I'm going to get that question answered right away. Meanwhile, I think what I'll do is focus on fixing the motor. Now that I know what he has and I know the space that he has, I've gone through all of the details of the wiring. I've got my assessment on the conditions and stuff like that. So I'm going to streamline all of that, get back with Joe and see what he thinks he wants to do with it. This soundboard is one of the older ones, like it's like a almost level 1 or level 2 board. And later the boards were smaller, or earlier they were smaller, this was bigger, then they got smaller again. In any case, this is a damn good general steam, they call it. It's a medium steam. Has excellent chuff, I think, and all that. And this being the Cruise Lite gives him cruise control, but with that motor the way it is, that's cruise control is going to be fighting with that fluctuating resistance in and out, different directions. I mean, we got to work that, and that'll fix. I think the leak and the tightening that up is going to fix what his problems were. Okay, whew, what a morning, huh? To Sherlock Holmes here. But I think we got it, and finding the old manual was pretty cool. I'll make a copy for Joe so he can have it if he doesn't have it. And then we'll go from there. I'll see what he wants to do. Meanwhile, I'm going to work on that motor and get that fixed. All right, gang, just little updates as I go. It's better for me than trying to do an hour video once a week when I'm not an editor, you know, and it's just not. So there. All right. We'll see. Any questions, let me know later.